Hello friends, welcome to the King YouTube channel. Harry is tired of being in the background, and when he tries to step out of that role, Meghan isn't happy about it. It's interesting to think about, especially since many of us might unconsciously find some satisfaction in their struggles, almost as if we've overcome an adversary. Harry's frustration with his marriage to Meghan is clear, particularly with his recent trip to Colombia. If there was any doubt before, it's obvious now. From the start, the focus was on pushing her forward. She was the star. Just look at how well she did in South Africa and similar situations. But things started to change once they became more of a celebrity couple than a royal one. When you're in the public eye, it's not about representing a charity or a cause, it's about competing for media attention, and anyone who says otherwise isn't being truthful. Harry has spent his whole life receiving praise and admiration. He was known as the fun-loving prince, the joker, someone everyone loved to be around. He had this unique ability to lift people's spirits. In fact, there were times, as I've mentioned before, when Prince Harry was even more popular than the late Queen. He was seen as young and full of energy. Then he met Meghan Markle. This is the first time we've seen Harry so visibly troubled, with a lot going on behind the scenes. As I've mentioned before, this situation is fascinating for many reasons. Since this is the first time Harry has appeared so troubled, some people might actually feel a bit sorry for Meghan Markle. Do you think that's the case? If you agree, comment with 1. If not, comment with 2. If you have a different perspective, we'd love to hear it in the comments below. It's challenging to be around someone like that, but if you're a narcissist, it's tough on you too. Given how open Harry has been about his many therapy sessions and coping mechanisms, it's clear that it's a heavy burden. Many people are saying they didn't seem connected during this particular tour, and that they were certainly not in sync. But here's what really happened behind the scenes, and Harry himself has told me this. Remember that particular celebration where the children were dancing and Meghan stood there with a distant smile, pretending to enjoy the event? She knew every camera was on her, watching for any slip of her composure. Behind the scenes, after that, Harry casually stretched out and draped his arm over the chair next to the interpreter. The interpreter seemed a bit uncomfortable, but Harry knew exactly what he was doing. Up until that moment, no one had really paid much attention to him, but he arrived looking incredibly cool and confident in his light linen outfit. It's worth noting that Fanny Marquez was thrilled to meet him after all. He was an actual royal, while Meghan was just a former actress from a cable TV show. At this point, Harry knew the press wouldn't react well, so he did this to grab attention. It worked, as everyone in the room started talking about what he was doing, whether he was flirting, and so on. Behind the scenes, I'd say this sparked another big argument because Meghan believed it was distracting from their brand, the image they've always tried to sell. If you remember, she was constantly holding his hand, even insisting on it when they were out, as if to say, "We're still in love." They always walked hand in hand, trying to show that they were madly in love. But during the most recent interview with CBS, we noticed that Harry was hesitant to reach out to Meghan when she seemed distressed. He seemed so disengaged, almost as if he's really unhappy with how things are going. Honestly, it's hard to tell whether his frustration is with the press or the direction their lives have taken as they approach 40. It's not much to show for, and Harry seems to be stuck in the past, unable to look forward. This was his chance to shift the attention back to himself, and he took it. That's what's happening right now with Harry and Meghan. And Jen, we all know how love can bring out the best in people, but when one person starts getting a bit too much attention, jealousy starts to creep in. That's exactly what's happening with Harry and Meghan. I have to tell you, challenging times are ahead. He's made some hurtful remarks about his family in his book and interviews, which deeply affected our beloved late Queen Elizabeth II. When someone causes pain like that, forgiveness doesn't come easy, and they are being held accountable. Harry, as an adult who chose to be part of all this, shares in the responsibility, and so does Meghan. Furthermore, Markle doesn't bring anything of real substance. There's no brand there. She's an empty vessel, lacking true emotion, and seems unable to stand on her own without depending on a man. It's a strange kind of feminism, and without him, she would have remained unknown because she brought nothing of value on her own. No job, no home, no money, and no one left to turn to. Markle should never have interfered with his medication or pulled him away from his family, friends, and country. In other words, the focus has always been on Markle, and Harry isn't allowed to do anything that might shift the spotlight away from her. Sadly for Harry, Markle doesn't realize that most people are actually there to see him the real royal. If Harry's supposed to be happy, he's doing a good job of hiding it. I don't feel sorry for him. He let his wife push around the royal family, and he was right there helping her. Harry knew exactly what he was getting into when he married Markle. He's not a victim, she's a narcissist, and narcissists are very patient and skilled at controlling their victims. He was the perfect target for her. Oh, she understands perfectly. She knows she's nothing without him by her side. What more can he offer her now? From the past to the present, Meghan Markle was known in Los Angeles not for her acting, but for meeting men in hotel rooms and playing adult games. She's rude, nasty, always complaining, dishonest, disrespectful, and ungrateful, a malignant narcissist and an abuser of elders. Before Harry, she was just a Z-list actress that hardly anyone recognized. The story goes that Harry hired Meghan for a night at Soho House, and she used the oldest trick in the book to get the most gullible prince to marry her. She turned him into a whining, lying, manipulative joke, a royal court jester, a loser, and a professional victim. It's even sadder that Harry allowed his vengeful wife to mock the late queen and spread lies on both Netflix and during the Oprah interview. No, Harry, there's absolutely no sympathy here. What really pushed me over the edge was her mocking, disrespectful curtsy. She knew exactly what she was doing. She's rude, nasty, constantly complaining, dishonest, disrespectful, and ungrateful, a malignant narcissist who even abuses elders. Before Harry, she was just a Z-list actress, barely known to anyone. The story is that Harry hired Meghan for a night at Soho House, and she used the oldest trick in the book to get the most gullible prince to marry her. She turned him into a whining, lying, manipulative joke, a royal court jester, a loser, and a professional victim. It's even more tragic that Harry allowed his spiteful wife to mock the late queen and spread lies on both Netflix and in the Oprah interview. No sympathy for you, Harry. What really pushed me over the edge was her mocking, disrespectful curtsy. She knew exactly what she was doing. She should have curtsied to Her Majesty at the wedding. I'm sure she had watched Charles and Diana's wedding and was instructed by those paid to help her. Yet she essentially snubbed the queen. Why wasn't Harry angry about that? In my opinion, Harry is being treated exactly as he deserves. The truth is, Harry is a terrible excuse for a human being, and he's finally getting a taste of the treatment he's dished out to others. He's certainly not a nice person, and she just exposed his ugly side for the world to see. They're both utterly revolting. It's amazing how marrying the wrong person can ruin a life. If Harry had emotional issues before Meghan, they've multiplied 1,000 times over since marrying her. She's one scary person, maybe even for Harry. The rest of us know she's just an ex-yacht girl, allegedly. As for Harry, he's living the life he deserves, not the one he wanted. I have no sympathy for either of them. He made his choice and now he has to live with it. Harry, I'm curious how quickly you forget how easily and smoothly you stepped into the spotlight, callously accepting the Pat Tillman Award and before that, being hailed as a living legend in aviation. Far from being a shy, innocent bystander, you're just as self-serving, attention-seeking, and narcissistic as your wife. Maybe instead of playing the victim and staging photo ops, you could focus on fulfilling your promises like donating proceeds from your absurd book to charity or addressing the serious issues facing the people of the Commonwealth and the struggles of young African girls. He promised to help years ago, but then promptly ignored that commitment once he achieved success and fame. No one knew her before, and she should be thankful. The royal family gave her a platform, and she squandered it with her attitude and nothing else. We Americans saw how the British people welcomed her, and she ruined it with her victim mentality. The woman is nothing but trouble with her fake smile. Both of them avoid taking responsibility for anything, with her issues being a major part of it. She wanted what the princess had, and that was all. The woman is deranged. Do you agree with my views? Share your thoughts in the comments section. Thanks for watching my video. Don't forget to support me by liking, sharing, and subscribing to the King YouTube channel. Goodbye, and see you again. Bye-bye.